When I hear the word AI, I'm thinking about an extra brain, an extra pair of hands, addition in productivity boost. I'm thinking someone to bounce ideas with. I'm thinking almost like an additional virtual person next to me that I can speak to, ask questions, and that I can position into what I need it to be, or to phrase it or to frame it into what I need it to be at that moment.
When you think the past, when you was first time like seeing AI to be like a potential thing, do you remember when you have been?
That was actually my husband coming home and saying, "Sarah, have you seen ChatGPT? We need to test it out." And then we put the kids into bed and we got to ChatGPT and we tried it out.
Yeah, I think it.
How about you?
For me, the AI, I think was coming from maybe 10-15 years ago. Like I think, example, GGI was having like long time ago robot, which was helping them to make some decisions in the boardroom. And I think for me the AI, I'm looking that little bit from different angle. I'm more looking how you are making AI possible, what you are needing to have efficient AI solutions. That has been always for me the question. I think AI is, here, it has been already a long time. I think people are not always understanding what is the AI and what is do. I think I'm not understanding overall what it is in the end, and we are not knowing what will it in the future. But in overall, I think it's more for me that how we are making that working. Not really like that, is it something useful or where is it? Is it ChatGPT or is it something else? It's not really like, you can use that everywhere in overall.
I think the most tangible one is, like you said, with the chatbots, someone answering questions on the personal banking side, something that I've been using as a consumer as well of a banking application. We were looking into it in several different areas to see how it could be combined, my good old innovation by combination, combining a new technology and then combining it with an existing product. What's the new kind of innovation or new kind of use cases or new kind of customer value that you can get by that new combination? So both on the consumer side and on the business side, we had a few different, fairly interesting use cases.
No.
I would love to get more AI into my banking app. Now I realize that before banks are taking that leap and implementing AI into that kind of tool, it's going to take a long time. But considering that we have open banking and that you can bring your transaction data into whatever kind of application that you want, it's basically already today possible to put that. I mean, it would be possible theoretically for me to put my own transaction data into ChatGPT and then ask them, where do you see optimization potential? How can I improve my finances? Now we see how we had the heating crisis in Sweden last year. We have had the interest rates spiking and increasing for the last year. We see food prices increasing. There's a lot of new price points in comparison to just 1 year ago. How can I adjust my existing life to the new price points, and what do I need to change? That's something that you already today can ask ChatGPT if you would want to upload your transactions. By exporting your transactions, which is possible with open banking, you can combine it with AI and then get a completely new set of answers to whatever kind of questions you would have.
And I think it's the open banking and open banking data is a good example, because when I was saying that in the first place that I look how you are able to make possible to have the good AI solution, the open banking is good example, because you have, from my point of view, a little bit nerdy guy, you have like the data source which is having the structure, which is having basically the level of the knowledge what you can feed to the AI, where you are able to make the estimation and predictions and you are able to make the models. And I think this is something what AI is needing, the structure, and it's needing the data. I'm normally saying that data is in one way it's oil, but you are not putting on your car okay, now you are driving electric car, but you are not putting raw oil in the car. You are making from that oil other product, which is the data product, the data set. And then you are putting that on car or the AI, which is then delivering the value and making things happen. And I think open banking example now is really good example for this one. And from my point of view, if we are looking example our partners, like enabling this kind of AI to the end customers, I think that's amazing thing.
I think one really good case from the AI and open banking space is all the credit scoring cases. When you need to understand your customer's data, when you need to understand what kind of person is this, are they saving, are they investing, are they borrowing money, are they gaming, what are they doing, what kind of person do we have here in front of us? Are they eligible for a new consumer credit? We have a lot of partners in this space that we're working with. We both have credits, fintech originating from Sweden, Montio, fintech originating from Denmark, Crif originating from Italy, who are all very, very active in exactly this space, looking at how to work with the data, how to make insights out of the data, and then how to enable the people using their services to make better decisions, either to decrease the risks or increase the value.
Yeah, and I think one thing also what I want to clear here is that when you have this kind of like the data set and you have this potential, you need to also remember this is a little bit like thinking outside from the AI, but you are also doing a lot of things outside from the AI for that data. And people are a little bit forgetting when they are speaking about data and AI that okay, now AI is doing everything, but basically you under that one you have a lot of work what you are doing for the data with normal analytics and normal ways, like a more traditional ways. And it's also like good to understand when you are example looking for yourself, for your own product example, what you can do with this kind of data and what you can do in this area, that you don't need to jump right away to the AI, and it's not maybe even smart to jump right away to the AI. You should first look the data itself, understand that one, structure that one, and maybe tag something and then do some analytics top of that one, maybe machine learning, and then you can start to do the AI. So it's not like just using one card from the hand, you can use all the tools. That's the thing, and I think that's something what people should also understand.
From my end, that starts with our own responsibility and what we can do in order to help the customers feeling safe. If we look to the strategy of enable banking, not touching, viewing, working with, analyzing at all anything around the data. I often say that we are, in that sense, the FedEx of your data, bringing the package of data safely from the banks into the application of choice. Not sneak peeking or 3D printing that content, but bringing it safely to the delivery points. I think the best or the most safe part about what our partner is doing is that they are utilizing the customer consent. No data is being transported without the end customer consent.
Yeah, and I think this is really like you are now in the point, because we need to remember that the customer is giving permission. Customer is wanting the data, for example, when they are fetching the loan. And it's a customer benefit that who is giving you the loan is understanding your situation, because they are, example, able to give you better interest rate because you are able to show them how well you are doing with your money. Also, like this kind of way where we have the partners who are a little bit like specifying different things with their AIs. It's meaning that it's still like the closed environment. It's not like open for all, open for everything. It's closed environment, and you are able to then get the value from your own data when you are giving. This was a tricky question because it's the area where people are not yet understanding. And I think because we are in Europe and we have the GDPR and we have the PSD2 and then it's enriched now with the PSD3 and PSR, I think in Europe we are really ahead of many other markets when we are talking about how customer can trust, because there is quite big things behind our kind of players, like what is GDPR, what is our response, what is our partner respond with the data. I think in the Europe is one of the best place to do these kind of things, and from my point of view, Europe is going right direction, because in the end this is about owning your own data and able to use your own data where you want to use that one.
When you want it and where you want it.
Yeah.
If I look a few years ahead and I make a hypothesis of what I believe we would be able to see, as I'm coming from the cash management side and working a lot with the treasury and payments, I definitely see how it can provide a lot of value for treasuries. I see how it can provide a lot of value for accounting companies, ERPs, all these kind of business-to-business models where they are able to understand their counterparties, the customers, the partners, the suppliers, and to see the cash flows that are going into the company and also going out of the company. The cash flow forecasting, I strongly believe, is going to improve a lot when you look to the historical data and then make projections about how it's going to look into the future. I also see how having the overview and perhaps also getting this projection of the future to help you and to enable us who are responsible in the companies to make better decisions based on the data.
Yeah, and I think like in the business side we have a lot of like the easy low-hanging fruits with this combination, and it's nice to see that we have also like the movement there. And now when you are looking example the PSD3 and how it's also like pushing more to the business data side to be same level as the consumer data. It's having a really bright future in that sense.
I just got a vision of how it might be possible for me. By pulling in the pension data, I would be able to see what kind of pension will I look forward to. I lived and worked in 3 different countries, meaning I have pension in 3 countries. How am I going to get that into one overview? And then together with savings and investments, how are those 2 combined together? Where am I on that point when bundling everything, getting my full overview of what possibilities do I have with my life? Getting the visual overview of where am I right now, where would I want to go, and how far away from that spot am I right now? Being able to backtrack, how much more do I need to save in order to get that pension? Should I stop paying into the pension system and start investing instead? Where are my best opportunities? I think there are a few things that will be super important for banks going forward and to all the institutions affected by open finance, FIDA regulation. It's to make sure that you are able to get that data, that it's possible to get good data out of your own APIs. Because if you don't have the good data, no one is ever going to be able to build good solutions. By enabling all these different data points, I'm sure that the banks who have already done good investments into the technology shift that PSD2 or open banking has been enabling, those players are going to have a good position when they look into how can they now utilize FIDA, what kind of business cases are they utilizing, because there's a lot of players now being affected by FIDA for the first time who's never been building an API platform before or never been looking into this kind of openness before. That means that there are certain banks who have a big advantage over the other players who hasn't done this before, that could take advantage of these new data sources and what you would be able to build from it. But if I look to the history, although I really would like to believe that the banks have a great position in this, if I look to the history, I still believe that the strongest innovation will not happen within the banks, but outside of the banks, perhaps then acquired by the banks.
Yeah, but I think in overall, this is more like the positive game changer. Because in the end, if you are able to bring more understanding to the end customer and you are able to teach them, able to help them, making the finance more related to their daily based life.
Speaking their language.
Yes, it's really like making so that you have customers who are understanding more, which from my point of view, of course, it can be scary for someone. But from my point of view, it's opening a lot of new businesses and potentials. Like when you have the people who have not been earlier really seeing possibilities, example doing investments, are seeing that, hey, if I'm doing this in next 10 years, this can happen, and opening the doors and making them understandable. And this is the huge shift. From my point of view, it's not even so AI related. It's more about that one, that you are getting the information in that format that people are understanding. It can be done with the AI, it can be done with analytics, it can be done by human who is telling you what is there. And this is coming from when you are opening the data. This is where I'm seeing that the things are going. That's why I would not be worried about this one. I would be really more like looking how we can benefit from this change. How we are able to do things so that the smart people, educated people in the future are using our service, that our services are for them and we are there when they are needing us. This is the movement from my point of view. Of course, currently, like we have been seeing example in this year, downside in the financial ecosystem, in the fintech side, and we have been seeing that there have been happening some drops. Of course, one reason for that one is the interest rates and and these kind of things. But how you are seeing that, how we are recovering from this one, like how we are coming back, because I'm seeing that we are coming back even stronger, because I think this was pretty good thing that we was getting a little bit like the reality check in one way, and then now we are coming back. How you are seeing this one?
I think I'd like to quote Annika Winst from Nordea, the chief economist. She said some really wise things. This is probably mostly applicable to Sweden, to the Swedish mindset. But she mentioned that everyone younger than 40 years old, they have been growing up and living in a world where there has always been low interest rates. They have never experienced high interest rates, meaning that they've had a more than 10-year-long party with low interest rates and with low costs. Now suddenly the interest rates are increasing again. You're basically coming into the hangover of that low interest party. What the entire generation there needs to do is to sober up from that celebration of all the interest rates. But I believe that when we are sober again, the generation from myself and going younger, then we're gonna have a much healthier environment. I think the ones who are sobering up the fastest are gonna have the best chances.
Yeah, from my point of view, we are going a little bit back what we was earlier discussing, that we have now more educated customers. For the banks and for the financial environment in overall, because it's people are now understanding better what is meaning, what interest is meaning really. Because earlier people was not really understanding what is meaning if the interest is 2% higher. Now people are really understanding that one, and with the AI you are able to maybe do in future predictions. You are able to do mechanisms that you are safe if this kind of happens. And then you are able to offer this one for the people who have been already like having these kind of times and maybe wanting to have in the future, like the backup plans for these kind of things. So I think in overall, yeah, I'm totally feeling same. I have been always saying that our economy is built so that money is having cost, and interest is that cost. And if money is not costing anything, it's not sustainable. So we are now more back to the normal in overall. From my point of view, it's really like the question where the AI is coming. Like it's coming back to the thing that where it's getting its information, how it's working top of that one. And I think the hurting is coming from that one when you are feeding AI the information which is having some point. It's not neutral. It's having already like inside in the information itself something what is leaning somewhere. It's not really matter what is the case. That's why I like the data sources like open banking, because it's not leaning forward to different things. It's having like the data, and then what we need to do is that we need to treat the data neutral way, because problem with AI is that or this is how I'm seeing is problem with AI is that if you are not knowing when you are dealing with the AI, like when you are teaching that one and when you are really like going deep, if you are not knowing the things behind, it's little bit luck what you are getting from the AI, and you need to know to ask the questions. This is the problem what we currently have, like, and that's why I believe that we are not yet there that you are able to use AI to replace some human being in overall. It can help with something, but the human need to ask right questions, and that's why it's super important that, example, in banking and finance sector, the companies start to look the next levels and really like neutralize. What is also meaning is that you were saying well in earlier that the banks and financial institutions should really start to look the data inside their own environments and really like start to clean and make work with the data, that when you start to implement the AI, you have the neutral good baseline to work, and with the API layer top of the data and a possibility to fetch different information from the different source with the neutral way, then you are having something crazy and then you have something helpful. But it's really about that now it's the time to make sure that the data what we are feeding is good. This is also related to that thing that with AI, when you are automating the things, it's like having the long stick. The effect when you turn long stick in your hand like 1 centimeter like this is 2 meters in that point, which is meaning that with AI, when you are starting to build the decision making processes top of the AI, you need to really like look how the AI is working and understand. And that's why I'm not scared about the workplaces for the humans that, or in let's say in next 20 years, or that the AI is making us stupid because it's not yet there. We are not yet there. And the one problem is that we don't have good clean data enough to be there. And this is how I'm seeing this one. And I think like when we are talking about AI and the rules, it's not coming from the AI itself. It's coming from what you are feeding to AI. The rules are coming from there, not AI itself. If you are feeding right kind of stuff to the AI, it's much easier to make rules to the AI itself. This is where I'm seeing, and that's why I'm saying that why for me it's more interesting to see that what you need to have for the AI and these solutions. But this is like how I'm seeing how it can be making good things and not bad things. And it's really about the data, what it's eating. You can of course clean that data. You can use AI for that one maybe in some point. Example, if we are looking ChatGPT, there is human beings cleaning the data. There is humans trying to make that source good and the decisions good. It's really our responsibility. That's why I love these kind of like the movements. But we have example in Europe, like the GDPR, open banking, FIDA. In future, I believe that we are getting more and more these kind of like the movements in Europe, regulated or not. That's the heart of this thing, and that's why I believe in Europe in this one, and that we have been choosing correct way. And if people are saying that GDPR is bad, yeah, it's bringing some extra effort in the customer experience side. Security normally do that one. Like if you are doing something stupid thing, if there is one extra step, there is big potential that you are not doing that one.
It's a good filter.
Yeah, it's good filter. It's all about that one. And I think in that sense, I think that we are going right direction in Europe, and we can, in the financial sector, we can be like the example of this movement. With the clean data, with the AI, and in overall this kind of place where end customer can benefit these ones and really get something out from their own data, and really like in financial side maybe not, okay, we are even saving lives with these kind of actions. If we are able to cut the overlending problems and making people understand more their financial, and we are really like able to change things. I'm playing some games for my spare time, and I have to say that in games AI is super stupid. Like if you have in-game AI, you know, and the game industry is really heavily investing in the AI. Games, you are really seeing what is the level. You cannot like, if you are playing game, you are like 100% sure when it's AI and when it's human. And I think that's the good interface to look the things in one way, because in games it's basically giving you environment where you are not able to pick difference between the person and AI in easy way, because you don't have human there and you know AI there. You have two characters, two things acting, but it's super easy to see when it's human, when it's not. And I think this is like the fun that people are saying, but even the industry, which is a really like, I think forerunner in one way for the AI, investing like huge amount of money to the AI, and it's not there, not even close. This is in one way a reality check. I can recommend people to go and test and see, because that's a really like the current state of the AI. And maybe that's a relieving humans' fear, like what is happening in next 5-10 years. Because also one thing is that even that we are thinking that things are changing fast, it's taking time to implement those ones. It's really taking time to implement things, big changes. Change can be fast, but the implementation normally takes quite long time. If we are thinking smartphones or something, we have billion people. And if we are really starting to look how fast those billion people have been getting their smartphones, it's not so fast what we are thinking in the Western countries. It's fast, but it's not so fast. We are normally forgetting that, it's quite big group of people in the planet, and the changes are taking times. How about you?
Most recent hilarious moment with AI. I tried this picture prompting. So I uploaded a picture of myself and then I wanted to see what kind of results I would get. That was so far away from reality. It was hilarious. That was so not grasping who I was, but something completely different.
Yeah, and I think it's telling the thing in one way. It's telling where we are. But I think if we are thinking from that one, of course with the pictures and with the games and these kind of things, we have so many different variations, so many different things. The data is quite huge. And then when we are going back, what our example our partners are doing with open banking data, where you have a structured data, where you are able to categorize, where you are able to do things, there you are able to do really good stuff, and there you are able to monetize the current level of the AI, what we have, and there you are able to get trustful decisions or trustful actions from the AI. And I think it's a really nice place to start to build the future of banking and future of financial side in overall. Thanks, Sarah. It was super nice to come.
Thank you.
And have this discussion.
It was a delight.